I hope you're all doing well out there. I know it's been a little while since I've posted. I've talked about this in my community tab a little bit, how I was going to take a break and how I've just been kind of feeling burnt out with things in BTD5. And to be honest with you guys, it wasn't really something that I ever expected to happen to me. Like, I remember a year ago, I really thought that this was just going to be something that I kept on finding ways to grow with. And a lot of that's my fault, if I'm being honest. Like, I never really started getting into modding the game. I never really started doing certain things that I planned. And then I did plan certain things out that were interesting, but I didn't do enough to maybe endorse them or connect with the right people. Like with the tournament I hosted, for example, obviously those videos got way less views because they weren't really interesting to my core audience and YouTube wasn't promoting them. But then I never really found a way to get them advertised. And it was really cool to see the results, don't get me wrong, but a lot of the things that I had planned out that I guess I thought would become either series that would continue or just ideas I had, I never really did enough. So that's the first thing I do when I say about that is the biggest reason that I found myself burning out with certain things and why certain things never came into fruition is because, well, I was either trying to bite off more than I could chew, or I just went about things in a way where I hadn't planned it out well enough. I was being a little impulsive when I planned it initially, and it just was something where I feel like I would find myself constantly going back to the same formula of doing basic challenges in BTD5, which is something you guys noticed because the views obviously have gone down quite substantially. And another part of that as well is the fact that when I was posting in December especially, I was insanely motivated because I had made my biggest video ever, by far. I mean, at that point, I thought it was really crazy putting like 20 hours into a video. Like when I tested, what was it? If each tower, yeah, like each tower, and I'm not even gonna cut this out because this is totally just a raw recording and I want to be candid with you guys. But yeah, I was trying to remember the title exactly. It's like which towers can beat improbable mode and then mastery improbable. I remember those videos taking a lot of effort, and the one has like 100,000 views now, and I remember it doing well even at the time, and definitely was like a decent video for my channel. But up to that point of December when I made the video about how far each tower can get in the game, I had never tried to do something so ambitious. And at the time, I wasn't using cheat engine to skip rounds or anything. So what ended up happening is I genuinely spent like 50, probably about 50 hours. It sounds about right. About 50 hours recording footage and another like 20 hours or more editing it because the video is an hour long, but 50 hours of footage, like you're constantly scraping through it to find the relevant thing, then you're speeding things up. And the video, I'm sure itself took a long time to process and stuff too, but it was a ton of work. And not just that, but it was basically a video that I never believed I was capable of making until I did it. It was something where in the past, I always wanted to post a video every week, and I always thought like, maybe the most I can do is like 20 hours of a video or something like that. And I also, I guess, thought that maybe if I started working on a video and it was going to take longer than I expected and get out of hand, that I just wouldn't be able to get something out that week and I wouldn't be able to have anything else to post because I didn't really have backup videos or anything. So I would never take on a project that ambitious until I did. And the result was you guys came in in droves to view it. I remember waking up the next day and after the first hour where it was doing not really as well as you'd expect, all things considered, just because my channel was in a slump. And at the time, I had 4,000 subscribers as well, as opposed to like the 21,000, which I want to say thank you guys for that as well. But let me not do rambling here and just stay on topic for a second. But when I posted that video, I remember waking up and it was getting at like 1,000 or more views an hour. So it had like 10,000 views in the first 11 hours, which was definitely the fastest I'd ever gotten 10K views on a video. And I think like I was saying before, the first hour, it definitely only got a few hundred. But after that, it was like the algorithm knew that was the one and it picked it up. And it's crazy to think that video has over 800,000 views today, with the average view duration being around 16 minutes too. It's not even like a short or like a short video. It's a video that was actually something that people genuinely enjoyed and that I actually was, at least in a small way, successful. And that was sort of maybe not quite the peak, but that was definitely where, as great as the moment was, I would say the turn started to happen, because that was the biggest video that I could possibly make for BTD5 without doing some sort of crazy modding or maybe finding other ways to make like documentaries or something about the game. I mean, I think it might be possible long term that I could find content that might like rival it, but in terms of especially challenges, that was the one. That was the big video. And I remember that next week posting how far could each special agent get in BTD5, and it got like 37,000 views in the first 24 hours. And I remember the first hour, it got like 3,000 views, And that really probably was the ultimate peak, because the other video was really doing well still. It had gotten like 100,000 views in the first week, I think. Or maybe it was a little, maybe it was like 8 days. I'm trying to remember exactly, but I don't have the statistics in front of me. I just have the same gameplay footage that you're watching. But basically, I definitely remember it being like the fastest growing video I ever had, that special agent one. And after that, it was like not downhill from there, but definitely it started to become more and more diminishing returns, because I remember making that temple video, and that was the biggest video I ever made, because not only is it like an hour and 20 minutes long, but in terms of like recording time and stuff, I mean, there's 101 maps at the time. I guess now it's 102. It was absolutely ridiculous though. Like, I remember, I mean, I did start using cheat engine after a certain point, and I think, I said that in the video too. I wasn't like trying to hide that, but it wasn't like I was trying to let certain temples cheat by skipping them to rounds they couldn't beat. I was just skipping the rounds that I knew they were already going to beat. And I remember for like the first 15 or 20 intermediate maps, I didn't do that, and it took me like 3 days of recording just to get through those. It was like 8 or 9 hours I was recording a day, and by the end of it, I had like seriously like 70 hours of footage, like 30 hours of editing. It was an absolute monster. And I remember in 4 days doing like 13 hours a day, which again, obviously putting that much time into a video that probably should have been made in the course of several weeks definitely was also conducive to burning out. And again, that was my fault because I wasn't really planning ahead. I was kind of just like, oh, now that I've done this really ambitious project with the video that was how far can each tower go, is like I want to do bigger and bigger things, and I was still posting weekly, and that really lended to me essentially reaching a point in which instead of doing something smart, like maybe being like, oh, okay, I'm going to do this challenge video here and then another challenge video next week, and over that time, with these videos taking 10 hours a piece, I can also make the temple video and post that in 3 weeks, and then spacing out the biggest content and maybe having that get more views. Instead, I just did like all of the biggest ideas I had, kind of burnt myself out in December, and then coming into January, I remember making more like niche challenge videos, and they were doing really well, like, getting like 70 or 80,000 views and stuff on the next few videos. So especially for like the fact that they didn't take an insane amount of time and they were more random challenges, those videos were still doing really well, and the channel itself was still in a really huge growth phase. But that was sort of the point, I think, where for me, I kind of started to feel like, what else can I do with BTD5 that actually is interesting? And that's where I started to become less consistent. I stopped like uploading weekly, and then I started posting like more frequently, but they were smaller videos, and I started to lose, I think, some of the charm of the channel. But at the same time, there's only so many of those huge videos you can make where it's like, how far can each tower get? How far can each special agent get? And eventually those would become redundant as well. Like if I did each special agent on improbable mode, not nearly as many people probably would have watched that, for one, but for two, I feel as though both for me and the viewer, we became burnt out on just how simple the game is a lot of times. At least in the sense of like, you look at this footage here, I mean, even when I'm doing non-monkeys, which is what the original challenge was, you can see that there's a ton of balloon chipper spam, and it's really not fun to watch either. And overall, again, like, I think a lot of people, just like myself, sort of came to a point where it felt like you were watching the same formula over and over, and it's like there wasn't really a point in which I felt like I could grow with the game after a while. And again, this is all on me. I have not explored enough opportunities, I don't think, and I think beyond that, I've just been too scared to mod the game, especially because I'm so worried about either downloading something malicious or doing something that messes up the game and messes up like something that corrupts it. And I know that's not really probably likely to happen, but that's just kind of like, I guess, the way that I have been with things. Like, I just play games as they are, generally speaking. So ultimately, that's been another limiting factor as well, is just not exploring more things. So with that being said, this isn't a video to say that I want to quit YouTube, because obviously I think this whole time I've been pretty clear about the fact that it's all been a psychological thing, and a lot of it, again, is I definitely burnt myself out in December, but that was almost a year ago, which feels really crazy to say. It still feels so recent in terms of when the channel blew up compared to like when it was not doing as well, but definitely we're talking about now, that is like older channel history for Phenomics. But in any case, what I do want to hear from you guys in the comments, if you are still watching, is what exactly do you want to see? I've never really asked that in a full video, especially one dedicated to talking about this type of thing. So, I mean, yeah, just like let me know, guys, because genuinely speaking, I do want to make videos that are interesting to you. And also, I want to find things that I would find interesting to make as well. So I do want to pull back and try to make more content that's documentary style. Like, I want to work with Sev, who is the free play record holder in the Flash version of the game. And I also want to do a lot more content that's just, I guess, ambitious on my end and stop being so limited. So again, I do want to hear from you guys and let me know what you're thinking, but I really do appreciate everyone who's been here, of course. I mean, whether you've been here from day one or you just found the channel today, it really is awesome that we actually have a real community, especially around a game that isn't really played very much anymore, at least not on Steam, I guess. I can't really see the mobile numbers, so maybe there's like a bunch of people playing on their phones that I don't know about. But with that said, I really do appreciate you guys. If you did watch the whole video especially, and I'm going to try to post another video definitely soon. I just want to find a topic that I actually find interesting to make instead of just like basically scraping up some random challenge in BTD5 and then doing that, because that is something that I've done a lot, unfortunately. I think this challenge was one that was more interesting to me with no monkeys, but generally speaking, a lot of them are just more random, and it's because I don't always have the best idea for content, or I just don't always tackle the most ambitious ideas. So yeah, I'm going to stop being redundant now, and that is it.